In the last class, I told you how an interface, how you can use various drivers and you can use the web element interface to interact with various components on a web page. Okay, I'd gone to Gmail and I had simply entered my username and password. That's it. So I had told you that there's a function known as driver.findElement. This function, it finds the first element on the web page. Okay, if there are multiple elements with the same criteria, that is ID or any other criteria, then it will find the first element. Fine. So today we'll move forward and we will look at, I'll create a new project, day 5. In day 5, in the source folder, I'll create a new class. Is my voice breaking for everyone? Is the voice clear or is it breaking? You can just tell me on the WebEx chat, because it's saying that my voice is breaking.
It's breaking.
Okay, hold on. Give me 2 minutes. Guys. I'll just correct my audio. Hold on. I just got a new network connection and I need to configure it as well. I have not done some settings. Just 1 minute. Hold on. So fine. So this is I'll create a new project known as day 5. Right. And in this project we have, oh sorry, I made a file known as day 5. In this, I'll name this file as again Selenium, say simply Selenium drivers. Okay, hold on. Now everybody knows about, hold on, just a minute. You can press F2 and you can rename the file with the help of F2. Okay, now in this, if I just create the object of Firefox driver, right, and run this, what will this do? Anybody? What will this do if I just create the Firefox driver object? I hope my voice is clear now.
It will open the Firefox browser.
Yes, it will open the Firefox browser, right? But if you, okay, let me run this. Right, let me run this. the Firefox which is opened by Selenium, if you observe that Firefox,
Ashish,
yeah,
why you didn't add libs that time? Because you just added 2, but you didn't add libs. What is the, you said like every time you have to add both of them, like the jar external jar.
yeah.
You just added 2, but you didn't add the libs one, whatever you have in the libs file.
Is it? No, I added the libs one first, and then I
okay. So every time you have to add all of them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So this is the Firefox browser which Selenium has opened. If you look at this browser very carefully, then you will observe that uh, it's not the normal browser which you have it in your machine, right? It will not have the regular bookmarks which are there on your machine, right? Neither it will have the Firebug add-on inside it. It will be just like a fresh Firefox which is installed on your machine. Okay, now why am I telling you this is because when you work practically, right, suppose you are having a situation like this, that is, these are the 4 pages of your website, and with Selenium you are navigating from page 1 to page 2 to page 3 to page 4, and on page number 4, fine, the script it fails. Now when you are using QTP, if anybody has used QTP, then you can simply open page 4 in background and you can run the script directly from page 4. There is an option in QTP to you can run the script from between. If there are 100 lines of scripts, you can run the script from the 99th line or 90th line or 50th line. But in Selenium, you have to run the script from the very beginning every time. Okay, and what happens is that when you run from the beginning and the script fails on the page number 4, you don't know what has happened. Okay, at that point of time, you feel that fine, I need Firebug in Mozilla to inspect the page number 4 so that I can see the elements inside page number 4 and I can figure out where the stuff is going wrong. Okay, now the problem out here is that the Firebug which opens up the Firefox which opens up has got no Firebug. It's just like a fresh Firefox on your machine. Okay, now this concept can be understood through the concept of Firefox profiling. Anybody knowing about this concept, Firefox profiling? Is there anybody who knows about it? Firefox profile concept. No? Anybody?
So Ashish,
Yeah.
yeah, what I know is you can basically configure your Firefox profile to the Selenium so that it always kind of refers to that. I've heard about it, but never kind of used it personally.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that way as well. Alright. Look, the basic thing is that basic stuff is like this. That is, suppose I'm sharing my PC with, say, my wife. Okay, my wife and me, we both use the same PC. Okay, now when my wife opens up Firefox, she wants that she has to see her own settings in Firefox. She wants her own bookmarks in Firefox. Right, so it's something a customized Firefox for her. But when I open up Firefox, I want that. Fine. I want my set of bookmarks, my set of add-ons, a customized Firefox, which is for me. Okay, so This can be achieved only in Firefox, not in IE or Chrome, through the help of Firefox profiling. Okay, I'll tell you how to do that. First of all, to do that, close the Firefox through File Exit menu. I again repeat, this is the mistake which everybody does. Right? Open Firefox and close it through File Exit menu. Fine, and then go to Run. Right? In Run, type Firefox. Just a minute, I'm also forgetting the command. 1 minute. Open up Run menu and give this command firefox.exe-p profile manager. Okay, when you give this, you get a window like this. In this window, you have got an option to choose your Firefox profile. Yes, anybody? So somebody is asking a question. Okay, so in this you have the default profile which is already there on your machine. Fine. If I start this, then the normal Firefox will open up. I can create my own profile. I can create a profile named as say Ashish. Fine. And when I start this profile, okay, Firefox opens up, right, and it opens up like a fresh profile which is present in your machine, right, like a fresh Firefox basically, which just gets installed on your machine. So it's got no bookmarks, nothing like that. Suppose I go to the website google.com and bookmark something, right, or I just install Firebug in this profile, right, hold on. So I can customize Firefox as per my own needs, right. I can create a profile and I can do whatever I want to do in that profile, right. So just hold on. Restart your Firefox and Firefox gets restarted. Okay, so now out here, see, Firebug is present in Ashish profile now. In this profile, I have got Firebug present. So now with Selenium, when Selenium starts up a browser, okay, when Selenium starts a browser, it creates its own profile and starts it. Right? It is only with the case of Firefox. It is not in Chrome or IE. This kind of behavior is only in case of Firefox. And Selenium creates its own profile every time you run the project or your program. Now what I want is that when I create the object of Firefox driver, a profile which I just created, Ashish, should open up. Fine. Now why do I need to do this? Please understand the need first. Why do I need to create a profile? Look, sometimes you need to have firebugs and some add-ons installed on which the testing has to be done, firstly. Secondly, sometimes you might have a proxy server settings which you have to do on the browser every time you open the browser. You can do the proxy settings on a particular profile and you can open it up, right? Another thing, like for if you have to test Android or iPhone applications, so not applications but the websites, how it opens in Android or iPhone, you can simulate the browser of Android and iPhone on Mozilla by changing the user agent, right. If you watch the module number 43 of my website, I've told how to do that. So again, in Android testing and all, you need Firefox profile. Then at times you have to handle certificate errors in HTTPS websites. Okay, then at that time also you have to uh, uh, again use Firefox profile. Okay, if you have to handle HTTPS websites, secure websites, so there are many usages. Fine. So first let us see how do I open up a particular profile which I wish, right? To understand that, you need to understand the concept of constructors first in Java language. Okay, now I'll tell you what a constructor is. I'll create a new class, fine, and name that class as, say, school, fine, and I can define some properties of a school, for example, string name of a school, fine, then string or int students, the total number of students of in the school. So I created a class school, and in this school I've created two non-static variables, name and total number of students, right? There is no main function because I don't want to execute this file. I'll execute another file. I'll create a new class known as, say, test. I hope everybody is able to hear me now, and everybody is able to hear me very clearly, right? So now in this school class I can create the object of school over here. School s equals to new school, fine. Alright, now say s1. I can write s1 dot name is, say, school A, s1 dot students equals 100 students in s1 school, right? Then we can have school s2 equals to new school, fine, s2 dot name is B, right, and s2 dot students are 200, fine. Then I can create another object, say s3, and define right. Now what's the problem here? The problem here is that every time I create an object, I have to write two separate lines to initialize the object properties, right? We are very lucky that the school class just had two properties, that is name of the school and the total number of students. Now what if there were 10 different properties of a school? Name of the school, number of students, number of teachers, total number of classes, address of the school, right? So suppose we had so many fields present, then the problem would have been that every field would have to be initialized separately. After creating one object, I would have written 10 lines to initialize the state of the object. I hope you are understanding me, right? Now this can be avoided. This can be avoided with the concept of constructors, right? I can create a constructor in the school class, right? The syntax is like this: public school. It's not a function, it's a constructor. The name of the constructor is supposed to be same as the name of the class. This is the golden rule. There is no return type like function in a constructor. Okay. Now inside this, if I write system.out.println inside constructor, okay, right. So the constructor, it is called every time you create object of the class. Okay, right? Every time you create the object of the class, this constructor is called. For example, in test.java, how many times I am creating the object? I am creating the object 3 times. Okay, so when I run this test.java, 3 times inside constructor will be printed. Okay, right? If I create a 4th object as well, that is new school, okay, and run this, 4 times the constructor will be called, right? So the constructor is called every time you create the object of the class. So this can be useful because I can initialize the object at that time when I'm I can initialize the object while creating it itself. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make another constructor. I'll make a constructor known as public school, which takes in the name of the school and the number of students, and inside it I'll write the name is equal to n and students equals to s. Okay, so this is again a different constructor which is having 2 arguments. This constructor accepts the name and the number of students which the school is having. So right now when I create the object of the school, I'll create it like this: school s4 equals to new school, name of the student school is D, comma, number of students are 400. So on the fly itself, while creating the object, I am providing the name of the school as well as the number of students in the school. And when this type Java, when it looks at this, it looks that fine. School object is being initialized and a string and an integer is being passed. It will automatically call the constructor which is accepting the string and an integer. Okay, right? You can also create a constructor which just accepts a string, right? Whatever you want. Fine. So this is what constructors are. You can at runtime, when you in one line basically, you can initialize your object, right, instead of writing separate lines. This is very helpful. Okay, right? Now how we use this concept in Selenium. If you look at the documentation of Selenium, if you look at Firefox driver class, okay, hold on. Just a minute. I'll open up Java docs inside Eclipse itself. Right. So if you go to the frame view and if you look at any driver, say right now we are looking at Firefox driver. If you look at if you look at Firefox driver class, right? Then this is the constructor. Okay. These are the various constructors which are present in Firefox driver. Okay. This is the one which we call normally new Firefox driver. Okay. There is one constructor in which you can pass on the object of something known as Firefox profile class. Okay, there are some other constructors as well in Firefox driver which accepts objects of something known as capabilities class. Capabilities class is not used regularly; it is used only with GRID when you have to run your test cases parallelly. Okay, so constructor is something which helps you to initialize object whenever you create it. It basically helps you to initialize the object properties, right? Fine. So it helps us to prevent writing extra lines of codes and separately initializing the object in separate lines. You can initialize the object only in one go. You got it, Ishiti? You're asking me a question, right? What it does? What it does is that it initializes the object in one go. I don't have to write in the next line s4.name is d and s4.students is equal to 400. I don't have to write that. Okay, you got it? Alright. Now coming over to the class which I just created. Right. Now to open up the profile Ashish, I have to use constructors in Firefox Driver. Before that, I have to create the object of a class known as profiles ini. Hold on. This is an inbuilt class inside Selenium API, right? When you create the object of this class basically gets all the profiles which are present in your machine. Right now in my machine I just have two profiles. One is default sorry, one is default profile and the other profile is Ashish profile. Okay, so it will get all the profiles, and from all the profiles I'll write get me the profile .get profile known as Ashish, and get profile function, it returns you the object of an internal class known as Firefox Profile. Okay, right over here Firefox PROF equals to this. Right, Firefox Profile is again an internal class which just represents one Firefox profile. Okay, profiles ini class extracts all the profiles. Right, now when you initialize your Firefox driver in the constructor, you pass over this profile, because we just saw that in Firefox driver class one of the constructors is there which accepts Firefox profile object in the documentation, right? So that's what we did over here. We got the Firefox profile object which represents Ashish and passed it over in the constructor of Firefox driver. Now when Firefox will open up, Ashish profile will be loaded, and this helps a lot. Okay, so if you look at this now, see the Google bookmark and all which I had made is coming up, even Firebug is coming up, right? So I can do my testing in this kind of profile. I can write in the next line, if I have written WebDriver driver equals to this, right? And hold on, right? I can write driver.get to the URL, any URL, say gmail.com again. So this will go to all the URLs. It will do everything what Selenium does, but you'll get Firebug in that particular profile. Okay, that will help you a lot, because you can investigate the website on the same browser on which you are testing it. Otherwise, it was not possible. You had to open it in a separate browser in the regular profile of your machine which had Firefox. Okay, now this Firefox profile is used a lot. It is used in testing of HTTPS websites in in which you have got certificate errors. Then it is used in iPhone, Android testing. Okay, in this we change the user agent of the browser using this, right? And at times when you have to download files with Selenium, then again you use it, right? Sometimes there comes a link, right? In Firefox you click on the download link and the file gets downloaded on your machine. So to download files and all, you again use this profile. Okay, so there are various utilities. If you have to test using a proxy server, then you can do the proxy settings on a particular profile and you can open it up, right? So there are various things, we look at them as we proceed, right? Now this kind of behavior is not there in Chrome or IE. Don't think that there is something known as Chrome profile or IE profile. It's not there. It's only in case of Mozilla. Fine, right? Now, any doubts from anybody regarding the class, regarding whatever I have taught today, or regarding the course? I hope the usernames and passwords were available to everybody whosoever paid for the course, right? Is there any question from anybody before I move forward?
Ashish, regarding this HTTPS certificate error for a duplicate certificate, we get an kind of an alert, right, when we move on to open a web page which is hosting a dummy certificate. It will throw an alert like click yes or no or something like that.
Yeah.
Those kind of things you mean to say it could be possible with having with this profile?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is possible. I'll tell you how to do that. Right. Anything else? Right. So fine. Let's move further. Okay. Right. Now, let us study. Can you show me one more time how to create a profile? Okay, it's quite simple. To create a profile, you have to close the Firefox from File Exit menu. Okay, close Firefox from File Exit menu, and then open up Firefox. Okay, and then sorry, I said open Firefox. You have to go to the Run menu and give this command. Okay, I'll give you the command over. Right. When you give this command, right now default and Ashish, two profiles are available. You can create any new profile. I can say that profile name is Selenium, and this is the profile. You click on Start Firefox. This profile will be created. Okay, it's very simple. Fine. Okay. Now, moving further on, right? Right now we had studied that day that how to identify objects. Okay, I had written this line that is after going to the Gmail, driver dot find element by the ID email. Email was the, just a minute guys, this, okay, that was my brother actually. He didn't know that I'm taking class. Fine. So driver dot find element by the ID email dot send keys. You can type in any username in this. Fine, but there are other locator mechanisms as well. ID, name, link text, tag name, XPath, and all that stuff. Now at times it is not possible to use ID every time. Okay, I use Gmail example because it is the most simple website. The developers have given IDs for all the elements, but you know it's not possible for developers as well to give IDs for all the elements on a web page. For example, if you go to Gmail only, fine, you will see that this thing over here, this text, okay, it will have no ID. Fine. Hold on, I'm on the profile Selenium. I'll open the default profile. Alright. If I go to the Gmail page now, and if you observe in Firebug, if I observe this particular component, this text is having a tag name h4, but it's got no ID, nothing. Okay, it's got no ID, nothing. So how do you manage this? Right? How do you identify this element? So this element can be identified using XPaths. Right? Now I'll tell you about XPaths. How do you make an XPath? Okay. Now there are two types of XPaths. One is known as complete or absolute XPaths, and other one is partial XPath. Okay. Now complete XPath, it is derived from the base of the HTML document. Okay, it's derived on the basis of the tag name. For example, the first tag on this page is HTML. Right? Okay. Inside the HTML tag, you have got two tags, head tag and body tag. My element which I need to detect, this text, this is the text which I want to detect, right? This text in h4 tag is actually present in the body tag, right? So I'll write HTML/body. Fine. Then in the body tag there is a div tag. Okay. So you'll write div. Right. Now inside this div there are number of divs. There are 3 div tags and there are many script tags. Okay. I am interested in the second div tag, not the first one. Right. Because the text which I am interested in is present inside the second div tag. Okay, so you'll write over here inside the div, go inside the div number 2, like this. If I would have wanted to go inside div 1, I would have written div 1 over here. Okay, right. Now inside the second div, again there are 3 divisions, right, and I need to go inside the second division again. Okay, so you write again div 2. Right. Inside the second division, I have 2 divisions, this one and this one. I'm interested in the first division because h4 tag is inside the first division. Okay, so I'll write div 1, and inside this there is an h4 tag. Okay, h4 tag. So this becomes my XPath, which will denote the text. The text is present inside the h4 tag. Okay, the text is actually present inside the h4 tag. So in my code over here, just a minute, I'll quit my Skype. Right, in my code over here, you can write driver dot find element by the XPath, and you can give this XPath expression. Fine, and you can write dot get text command. This will give you the text of that particular element and h4 tag, and you print the text. Okay, this is one way. Fine, using absolute or complete XPath. Okay, now the thing is, first of all, you don't need to derive the XPath the way I have done. starting from the base of the HTML document, right? There are tools available for this. You don't have to worry that every time do I have to go into the code, start from the HTML tag, then expand the tags, and then move down the tags, right? No, you don't have to do that. You have to install an add-on known as Firepath in Firefox. Firepath is an add-on which installs on the top of Firebug. Make sure that Firebug is installed on your Mozilla, right? And Firepath add-on will tell you the XPaths. Okay, you go there, and I already have it installed in my Firebug. Right, so you just have to click on Add to Firefox and install it. Fine. If you open Firebug, you will see an option known as Firepath present here. Okay. Inside this, make sure that Generate Absolute XPath is clicked. Okay, right. Inside this, click on Generate Absolute XPath. Now, if you again go to gmail.com, and if I observe the XPath of that, if I observe that text, this one, Firepath will automatically give me the XPath. You don't have to worry. Rather, it will give me the XPath for all the elements starting from the HTML tag. Okay, if you do this, if you compare this XPath and the one which I had made, HTML body, okay, it is written div1 over here. That's why it's going a little long. Otherwise, you can just omit it as well. Right. I think I made a mistake. I missed out a div2 third time when I was doing manually. So you should not prefer doing it manually. You should actually do it through Firebug and Firepath. Okay, right. Now, in this kind of XPath, there is always a risk involved. Okay, the risk is that I'm starting from the base of the HTML document and I'm moving down to the element in which I'm interested, and I work on tags, right? Now, meanwhile, what if something happens tomorrow, okay, and developer changes the website and he brings in a new division or a new span or anything in between? My XPath will go for a toss, and rather many of the XPaths which I would have stored, they would go for a toss, right? So it's not advisable to use these kinds of XPaths which are complete or absolute XPaths, because they are accurate, they have pinpoint accuracy on the element. That is their advantage. But the problem is, if something changes in the website tomorrow, then you go for a toss. You can't help it, right? You have to open up the code and change the XPaths and all everything. That's why we use partial XPaths. Okay, partial XPath can again be retrieved from Firepath. You uncheck this option, generate absolute XPath, and then suppose if I check the XPath of the username field, then I get an XPath like this. Don't copy this initial dot, please ignore this initial dot, right? And you get this partial XPath. Okay, you get this partial XPath, right? And it starts with /star. Star means any tag on the page. Generally, we don't write a star. It's not a good practice. It's kind of a regular expression, right? It's an input tag with ID email, right? So you write the tag name over here. That is input. It's an input tag with ID equals to email, right? So this is how partial XPaths they are made. It always starts with a /, then comes the tag name, and in the brackets you have the attribute and the attribute value. Okay, useful example for this is that suppose I go to Facebook homepage. Okay, and on Facebook, look, if I look at the XPath of say this text, connect with your friends and the world around you on Facebook. Okay, the XPath comes up like this. There's an element with ID content, and inside it there's a div like this. Now this is the h1 tag. It's got no ID. Okay, so what Firefox does is that it moves one step ahead. Above it goes inside this div. It's also not got any ID. So Firefox goes one step ahead. It gets this div, no ID. So it keeps on going above till the time it gets a div with an ID equals any ID, like out here the ID is content. So it starts making the XPath from this division. That is basically this star is a division, right? A division with ID content, and inside it there is another division. Then inside it there is another division. Then it keeps on going forward till the time it gets to the h1 tag. So basically, instead of starting from the HTML tag, it starts from the division tag over here whose ID it can find. The developer has not given the IDs to the other division tags, so it did not use them. It used the division which had an ID equals to content. Okay, so you in the end you get an XPath like this, not from the base of the HTML document, but from somewhere in between of the DOM. This is also known as DOM, document object model. View source is also known as DOM. Okay, so any questions from anybody till now? Anything? Anything from anybody regarding the class, regarding anything? Right?
Ashir, so how do you test this dummy certificate ignoring that error with this profile?
You mean the certificate error?
Yeah.
You have to in the Firefox profile object you can write profile dot there are options available like, hold on, set accept untrusted certificates to true. You have to do this setting. Okay, then it will automatically accept the profile. And also profile dot, there was one more setting. Yeah, set assume untrusted certificate issuer, okay, to false. You have to do these settings and then
Right.
it works.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. So anything else from anybody? Anything else? Right. So we'll end up for today.